really, really good. And all I could think of was you. And
No.
I'm thinking, Stephen could do that. You
Johnny,
know?
I didn't know you played drums.
Oh,
I
are you
did.
kidding?
I was a rock drummer in a
Oh.
band in upstate New York. We played in the darkest, dingiest bars. And
I had no idea.
At age 16 and 17.
here's Stephen. You got to understand. I was the last of 5, so I was raised with what I lovingly call benign neglect.
Benign neglect.
Yeah, which means that I would come home on the weekends at 5 in the morning after we had breakfast because the bars we played in, the last call was 2 o'clock and the place closed at 3, and then it took an hour to pack up our gear. Then we had to drive an hour back to Schenectady, and then we'd go to breakfast. So I'd stumble in the house around 5:30, 6 o'clock, and my parents, they didn't care. I mean, I was 14, 15, 16 working in a bar.
So wait, Dad, Aunt Barbara was the oldest, right?
No.
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe was the oldest, then Aunt Barbara.
No,
was
Helen.
number 2.
Helen.
Helen, I'm sorry, not Aunt
yeah,
Barbara, yeah.
yeah.
Aunt Helen, number 2. Then who's 3? You, Dad?
Yeah.
And then
Tommy.
Uncle Tom, yep. And then Johnny was the last.
The
Correct,
baby.
Correct.
The baby.
The baby. That's why.
Did they wail on you as a kid, Uncle Johnny?
Look at when
No?
He got special
when he
treatment.
Went,
He
when
did?
when he
Yeah.
went.
You didn't pick on him.
Well,
None of you guys.
First of all,
Tom did.
there was always like a 4-year interval between kids. I'm 4 years older than Tommy was. Tommy was 5 years older than Johnny is, and my brother Joe is 7 years older than I am.
Okay.
My sister Helen is about 4.5 years or 5 older than I was.
There is one funny story about whaling. I don't want to get too distracted here, but there was one reverse whaling where we lived on Schenectady on Columbia Street, and we had a 2-story home, and there was an attic. And one day, I don't remember the exact situation, but we were either playing hide and seek or something, and Jim comes up the stairs of the attic.
Oh God!
And I got him with a pea shooter right in the center of the forehead.
I was so
and he
pissed.
was so pissed at me. He chased me, and I went down the stairs of the attic. Then I went down the stairs from the second floor to the first floor, which had a right angle or 180-degree
This was
turn.
an unfinished attic.
And just as I'm getting around the corner, he throws this cast iron
Skillet?
pistol. No, pistol.
Pistol.
It wasn't a real. It was a toy pistol, but it was cast
Yeah,
iron.
all toys were cast iron back in the day.
right.
And he threw it, and it missed me, but it hit the wall. And oh my God, if it hit me, it probably would have killed me.
Well, thank God it didn't.
For sure.
Thank God
Yeah.
it didn't.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
'Cause I was pissed.
So the number one thing I get asked all the time as a Zabin is how is that pronounced and what is the nationality? And I always say, you told me, Dad, it was probably Chabansky back in the day, and it's probably Chaban in the motherland of Poland,
Right.
but we've called it Zabin
Right.
forever.
Right. Right.
Did did grandfather call it Zabin?
Yes, he did.
Why?
Because, you're in America and everybody wants Americanized, and many, many, many people that came through customs to come here from Europe, either they changed their name
Right.
or they
Took an Americanized pronunciation.
exactly.
Okay.
And I had an uncle whose last name was Haskey, but his real name was Wojciechowski.
Wojciechowski.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he changed that to Haskey.
Okay.
And a lot of people did that. Mike Platt, the guy I used to golf
Yes,
with,
yes.
his real name was Palacky,
Oh, okay.
and they changed it to Platt.
So was grandfather, was he first generation or second generation?
He was.
He didn't come here from Poland.
No, he was the first one born in
First
this,
one born in the country.
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
All
Just-
right.
I'm
not
thank
the
you. I
not the
always
first
wanted
of
to
his
know
not
that.
the first of his siblings. He had 1 or 2 siblings that were born in Poland. Yeah, but his other 4 siblings were born here. His
If
other
I
3
had
siblings.
changed my name,
Yep.
low-level celebrity that I am,
Right.
to make it easier from a media standpoint, would
Oh,
you
I
guys
had
have
it-
you guys have been upset at me?
I had it picked out. I
What was
had
that?
it picked out for you.
What was my name? I would have gone with Steve O'Neill. I would have gone with Mom's
No. It
side
was
of the family.
it was going to be something close to. It was going to be something close to Zabin, but it was going to be like who's the guy that was the astronomer on W?
Carl Sagan.
Sagan. It was going to be Sagan.
Steve Sagan?
Exactly.
Steve Sagan.
Exactly
Headline
right.
news.
Exactly right.
Somebody said I should be Steve Reno. Because that sounds good.
Steve Areno.
I'm glad I'm a Zabin. And I shortened it to Zabe because
tell
my
you what.
friends call me Zabe in college.
I'll tell you
so
what.
there you go.
One of the great satisfactions of my life, and I didn't have a particular lock to this name, was that you took the name you were born with and you
Ran with it.
put it out there and you ran with it. And I thought, by God, this guy has got class.
It is unique. Class. I just didn't know any better.
No,
And it's and the
you-
uniqueness of it I think has worked out in the end.
And you decided to stay with it, and I thought that's pretty dang good.
Do you know any other Zabins out there? There's so few. Or Chabins.
No, there are
Well,
a few.
we know the coach whose name's Saban.
I know.
No.
And,
There are. If you look in the dictionary or the phone book in the old days when you had such things, we found a few families, but very few.
Yeah.
And as far as we know, there's not an immediate blood connection. I don't.
My father had a brother named Bill William Zabin, and he had two sons, Larry and Bobby. And Larry changed his name from CZABAN to CABAN to Caban.
Okay. Got rid of the Z.
Yeah, and that lasted, as far as I can tell, for about 5 years or so.
I should have gotten rid of the C a long time ago.
Yeah,
Well, sure.
that's right.
Right.
But then I'd be called last in school because I'm a Z.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of benefits I would have forfeited with getting rid of the C.
Yeah,
But ordering shit would have been a lot easier. Charlie's, you know what I say on the air? Charlie, Zulu, Alpha,
Right.
Bravo,
Right.
Echo.
Yeah.
Right. No, I tell you, I've never told you this, but I've been for my life gratified that you were so willing to take what you had and run with it.
Oh, Dad, thanks.
Yeah, seriously.
You're just more grateful I'm not on the payroll anymore. I got off your payroll pretty quickly, all things considered.
I am very happy about that too.
All right, so Johnny is in the van here. Johnny is you're traveling back to Florida where you live from New Mexico with your beautiful new bride, Barbara.
Yes,
When did you get married again?
September 2019.
2019. Okay, yes. And Johnny, you're retired. You're a chemist by trade.
Yep.
But a man of science to boot. He's the smartest of all the brothers,
Has
right?
to be.
Yeah,
Right,
some
Dad?
question
Absolutely.
about
Okay.
Absolutely.
that. I'm not the richest, I can tell you.
And Uncle Johnny's big hobby is flying not hang gliders, gliders.
Yes, correct.
Gliders.
Gliders, yes.
What the hell are you doing, Uncle Johnny?
Yeah,
It's
he's
just
nuts.
Listen, here's one thing. You need to understand that when you finish a career and your main driver in life is retired, you have to keep yourself active.
Right.
And I can't tell you a more intense time than when you're in an airplane without an engine
Right.
and you have to keep it in the air.
Right.
And the only way you can do that is to find some hot air that's lifting off the ground. You can think of a lava lamp like a bubble of hot air. And if you can get in that bubble, you can ride it as high as it can go until it condenses into a cloud. Or you can ride along a mountain ridge. But the point is, it's almost entirely preoccupying. You cannot worry about your aching foot, your aging parent, or conflict at your workspace. Your brain is so totally engaged with staying aloft in this airplane. It's really refreshing.
Yeah, but you know what? Rather long before he retired or left his, practice of his profession, he had owned a Piper Cub powered aircraft.
I did not know that.
Yes, he did.
You had a Piper Cub, huh, Johnny?
Well, it was probably a 150. Cessna 150. I don't know that I had a Piper Cub, but
Okay.
it could have been. They're the same class, almost.
he
Was that too boring for you?
No,
Was it too
no,
easy?
no,
I'll
it
tell you
turns
what.
out-
I'll tell you what. He took me for a ride over the Schroon Lake, and he banked the aircraft.
That'd be in
He
New York, Schroon Lake.
Yeah,
yes.
and he banked the aircraft, and I was so frightened by it that I leaned my body way over into his, almost laid on top of him. And he says, "Don't do that! Don't do that! You're going to make me bring the plane down, et cetera, et cetera." But then I found out that after that, we landed on a dirt little path on a cliff, basically. I thought, God, this guy is something. But then he flew this aircraft back to Boston in the midst of a thunderstorm, I'm sure, and almost brought himself down, in a crash, I think. I wasn't there.
I did have to stop in Bar Harbor and wait it out. So
yeah,
I didn't have instrument rating.
And I
You've
think,
crashed once, right, Johnny?
No, well, I've had crashes that are considered landings.
More than once.
Well, I've had landings that were not considered.
How many non-runway landings have you had?
Oh,
the one in Schroon was not a runway.
no,
I'm talking in the glider.
in the glider. I've only had really 2 or 3 non-runway landings.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
Those are crashes.
they are.
They are. and you live to tell about it. So
I
that's
did, and
good.
that's the key. That
Was
is-
it close?
Well, it could have been. I was in Logan, Utah, flying on the ridge, and the worst thing in the world, you're told over and over and over again, don't get behind the ridge. Well, I was out with some other guys in their airplanes, and I was getting bumped around, and I was struggling to keep height, and I got on the back of the ridge. And I turned to the left to see if I could get out, and the mountain was there. I turned to the right to see if I could get over the ridge to the right, and the mountain was there. I had no place to go, and I was in a mountain region where there was nothing but rocks and grass. And by some bizarre, strange situation, Barbara and I had been out the day before in an ATV that we rented, playing in the mountainous terrain. There was a lake that we had a picnic lunch at. But I looked over to the, I think it was to the west, and I saw this patch of flowers that we had seen when we were on the ATV. And I radioed to my friends, and I said, I am not going to make it over the ridge. I am stuck. I'm gonna go for this patch of flowers. And I don't know why the good Lord decided it wasn't my day, but I got just enough height to get to this flower patch. I put the gear down, I put the flaps down, and as I'm coming in, there were rocks. I mean, big boulders and rocks and shit. And I just, at the last second, I did a little pull up to get over the ridge and set it down in the flowers, and within about 150 feet, the airplane just thumped into the grass, into the flowers.
And stopped.
And it did what they call a ground loop, where one wing grabbed the ground and
Spun you around.
Spun me, and I stopped. And I sat there for 20, 30 seconds, and I'm feeling all my body parts. And there was
Changing his underwear.
there was nothing that hurt me. I didn't have, and I said, I didn't die. I didn't die. So the guys who
But now your glider is in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Absolutely
How
nowhere.
do you get a glider out of the
here-
middle of nowhere?
So the 2 guys I were flying with, they each had single engine gliders. One not single, but single
engine.
seat. And one guy saw me land. He said to his buddy, he said, "Yeah, Jack." I used the name Jack out west, and he said,
Just keep ahead of the authorities, right, Dad?
exactly.
He's always been Uncle Johnny to you and I. He's Jack beyond the Rockies.
Truly.
That's about right, actually.
Call him One-Eyed Jack from Schenectady.
So
Wanted for killing a man in Cheyenne.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, so anyway.
I had no radio communication and no GPS facility, because at that time I didn't have the sophisticated equipment I have now. But
So you
the
couldn't
guy
even
saw
radio-
me. No,
you
the
couldn't
guy
radio
saw me.
anybody.
The guy saw me. He was on the ridge, and he saw me land, and he said, "We'll come and get you." And that was the last time I could talk to them.
Wow.
And it took about 4 hours as the sun was coming down, and I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. The bugs were eating me up. I got in the airplane, closed the canopy, and just waited. And then it got so hot in there, I couldn't stand it.
What time of year?
It was in the summer.
Okay, so it was hot out.
It was hot.
Okay, so you were not going to die of hypothermia.
No.
If you had had to stay overnight, you would have been fine.
It's possibly.
Would you be worried about coyotes or any kind of
I'd be
animals?
worried about snakes and coyotes and, it doesn't, in that particular place, there were no cattle or cows, but if you land in a field where there's cows, they're curious. They'll come over and start nibbling on the airplane.
Hey, that's the least of your worries. The airplane's already fucked up. You're landing it in the rocks,
You
right?
don't want them nibbling at your ears.
So after that,
I didn't hit one rock.
Okay.
I tore the gear off the gear doors, not the gear, just the gear doors, which is a trivial fix. And after they come and got me,
all because you and your not yet bride, because you were not married at the time, right?
Right.
Had been out there ATVing, having fun, like you're
Yes.
16 years old.
Yes.
But you're not. And you saw a little patch of flowers you could possibly land in, and
That's
so
He's
you
a good
ditched it
listener.
there.
Yeah.
that's exactly the right story. This is a beautiful airplane.
Yeah,
I
I've got a
wish I-
picture up here, article about how gliders fly and how they're different than powered aircraft.
Yeah.
So fast forwarding, after this, your beautiful now wife said, okay, that's it with this bullshit hobby. Made you sell the airplane and you never spoke of it. Oh, no, that's not what she did.
No, that's not what
That's
we
not what
did.
she still encourages you to do this because she knows how much you love it, and she travels the country
With me.
helping be your spotter and everything else.
Oh,
and,
my God, you
and you
can't-
guys lived in a hangar in New
We
Mexico
bought
for
a
half
hangar.
the year.
2 years ago, we bought a hangar. We have a crew quarters, which allows us to live comfortably.
You
And-
live in an airplane hangar,
Yes.
Uncle Johnny, for half
yes,
the year.
for half a year.
And Barbara is totally fine with it.
Not only that, when I
Loves it.
land, she washes the wings of the airplane, and she has dinner ready, and wine is chilled, and this life is a fantasy.
Where did you find this woman?
My aviation friend Larry Laxer, who was a Navy fighter pilot who had over 500 carrier landings, which is beyond my comprehension.
Wow.
He introduced me to Barbara, and it was love at first sight. It was just the
That's
most
fantastic.
ridiculous fantasy romance you could imagine. And she
fantastic.
supports this flying hobby, and we
100%.
love the people of Moriarty, New Mexico.
That's
These
awesome.
are good.
So now, Dad, Uncle Johnny's got a banged up well, not because of this crash, but there was another sort of crash you had recently where you didn't quite get to the runway at the
Right.
correct angle, and besides, you said your glider needs the regular maintenance that goes
Yes.
with it. Going to be like $30,000. You said they now make powered gliders that you can get airborne on your own without having to be towed,
That's right.
but they're $250,000, give or take.
Plus or minus another 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Mostly
Dad,
plus.
He wants me to split it with him or something?
so Dad, I'm sitting here in your driveway in the boyhood home of my youth, 7903 Stirrup Cup Lane, McLean, Virginia. Mean Streets of McLean. House you bought for a mere $66,000, right? Back in
less than that.
62,
About 59.
59, and Grandpa Nick O'Neill thought you were crazy for doing it.
Right. For
Like,
sure.
what are you paying all this money for this?
That's for sure.
Easy resale, turnkey, sell it in 24 hours, $1 million, right?
Right. That's correct.
Buy your brother an airplane. Take out a second note and let's do this
yeah,
thing.
I know, but
It's only a small portion of your equity.
Right, exactly.
I can take out a second note and not give him any of it.
What are you going to spend it on, though? You play $5 blackjack at the
Son.
casinos.
I got 3 kids to think about.
We're off the payroll. Well, I'm worried Dad needs a hobby better than blackjack. See,
No,
Johnny,
no.
Johnny,
I'm
what?
getting so good at blackjack that I'm beating the crap out of him every time. I am.
Oh, here we go.
Sorry.
I believe it.
I'll take you with me, and we'll see.
Okay. Now that's good. I just don't want you to stop going to the sketchy casino in Pennsylvania
And you say that all the time.
where
but
you're
it's
going to get fucking mugged and left for dead.
No, it's pretty nice. They have
Stay
good
at the one in Dover. Go out to the one in West Virginia near me.
I don't like that one.
Why not?
He don't like
Because
the
the rules
table
are-
odds.
You
The
know,
rules.
yeah, the rules and the limits and all that sort
Oh,
of thing. You know, and the clientele and who knows what else. So,
So Uncle Joe, his big thing was fishing. He was master fisherman. He would take us out fishing. We'd go up to Schenectady, family trips, and I mean, I was just mesmerized.
And
at
you
what,
surprised us by catching the biggest fish.
one
when you
time
went-
I caught the biggest one by luck, but
Yeah.
yeah. But Uncle Joe was great in that regard. Uncle Tom, may he rest in peace, had the dirt car, had the race car
Yeah.
that he would take to the dirt tracks in upstate New York.
Fonda racetrack.
Right.
Exactly. And I remember as a boy, Johnny, being in Uncle Tom's driveway in his garage, his covered garage, and he'd work on that race car, and it was loud as shit, you know.
No mufflers.
Exactly. And, you know, it had the number one, the red, white, and blue number one on the side. Big Daddy was his
Yes.
nickname on,
Right.
on the back of it.
Yeah, right.
I was blown away. I was like, holy shit, is this real life?
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Tom has a race car.
And we watched them race.
Sure, yeah. Did he ever win any money?
No. Not that I know of.
I don't think so. Probably
Okay.
not.
So Johnny's got gliders. Dad, you need a better hobby than blackjack.
No, I
I'm
like
not
it.
asking you to do anything risky, but let's get you bumped up in terms of hobbies.
No, I like blackjack.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to keep you busy.
Yeah, exactly.
That and replacing, memory cards on your computers upstairs.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do memory cards so much anymore. But
Okay.
blackjack, yeah.
How are your computers, by the way? They all good shape?
No,
What's the matter?
no, they all need maintenance. I have 5 identical first generation laptops that are all. And they're all running Windows 7, and you can't run any of the new programs on Windows 7. You can't run TurboTax, for example, on Windows 7 because it's not supported anymore, and so on and so forth.
What is the model number of the laptop you have 5
It's a
copies of?
It's an E8310. It started out as a Fujitsu, which is
Yeah.
Japanese name, and now Siemens joined them. Fujitsu Siemens. Siemens is a revered German manufacturer, and then Siemens dropped out and Fujitsu dropped out, and so there is no Fujitsu Siemens anymore.
But
in
you
terms
swear
of-
it's the same model. And why'd you buy the same model? 5 of them, Dad.
Yeah, because they were equivalent to what I started out with on laptops, which was probably in the 90s or the early 2000s.
Yeah, but they're making them better now. Why do you want the old pieces of shit?
Because they're
Parts are interchangeable.
Yeah, they're very comfortable too, to me.
They're comfortable. Yeah. You don't like the new stuff.
And I've got them all set up, and you hate to change things. And besides, then I have to get some versions of new software and everything, like Word for Windows and all that.
Are
Sort
you
of.
using TurboTax 96?
I have it
Based on the Bill Clinton tax code? Probably should upgrade that. Dad.
I absolutely have it installed on
sure you do.
one or more of my 5 computers. And I've got Windows 97, 98. I've got TurboTax 97, 98, 99, 2000, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Now, Grandpa was a tinkerer. Your dad was a tinkerer, right?
He was, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where you guys learned it. And Johnny, you tinkered, obviously. You're a
I
man of
did.
sense.
I didn't have the depth of Brother Tom, and I never did some of the jobs that Brother Jim, your dad, did here in this garage. I mean, the stuff he's done was mind-bending.
You mean on the cars?
Yeah.
Oh,
like brake
I was-
jobs and
that's the
master
least of it.
cylinders and
Do you know how many hours, Johnny, I spent on my back on that dusty-ass, cold fucking floor helping hold a flashlight or hold a socket wrench? Because he's working on some CV valve that should never be replaced in anyone's garage.
Exactly. Well, he came to visit one time, and he had a history of fixing his own car. He had hoisted his engine up on a branch
Really?
of a tree up in New Jersey.
No, you didn't.
it wasn't a tree. I got a tripod lifter.
Well, I think
it was in a parking lot of a condo.
I
They
think
did
it was
not
of
appreciate it.
I think it was of necessity because he was just out of school, and money was, important not to overspend,
Well, sure. Do your own engine
But anyway,
block
he
repair.
came down to our house, and I had some projects going on in my car, and I tried to suck him into helping me with it.
He wanted no part of it.
Not only did he want no part of it, he started throwing stuff at the car and whatever. He says, "I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. I'm done with this. I did this before, and I ain't doing this anymore."
Well, I enjoyed the time under the car with you in retrospect, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we did it.
Yeah.
I do worry about today's generation because they didn't do any of this kind of shit.
Right.
Hands-on stuff, real-world stuff. risky stuff. I mean, I jumped off of the bridge on the river near where Uncle Tom lived.
Applause River.
Applause River. Tommy would take us out there and be like, yeah, here's a spot. We can go jump off this bridge piling into the water, 20 or so feet into the fucking river. No supervision, no permission from you guys.
I was not in favor of that. I had a cousin who unfortunately did a very bad thing and dove into
Paralyzed.
water. Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
well, I know.
And I didn't want any
But
part of you doing
we were
it.
unsupervised.
Yeah, well,
And
Benign
cousin
neglect.
and cousin Danny from Alabama was the real rabble rouser. Or no, wait, that was on Mom's side.
Yeah, right,
But there was
right.
somebody else who was like the real ringler. Like, come on, don't be a pussy, do this.
I don't remember.
I would.
I mean, that's the kind of thing I look back and
I would have throttled the little bastard, whoever.
yeah. But here's the thing: we would go up there on family vacations, and you would turn us loose with the cousins, and we would find our own entertainment
Yeah, well, I didn't
because
think
there was
your
no
own
entertainment inside the house.
I didn't think your entertainment was going to be, taking
off
your life
bridges?
in your hand.
I didn't think it was taking your life in your hand. It was like, it's water. Jump into it. What's the big
It's
deal?
the Mohawk River. And
Mohawk River, that's
yeah.
what it
Oh,
was.
that's
yeah.
what it was.
Well, in the
Mohawk
town of Alplaus, yeah.
in the town of Alplaus. But
Right.
yeah, so it was that. It was catching night crawlers at night so we can go fishing, because
Sure.
they would come out in the summer. They'd lie on the cool grass. You'd have to sneak up and grab them and stuff like
it was
that.
easy, yeah.
Yeah, above ground pool, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So all that shit now, I mean, not only is it doesn't exist, but the way that parents are, the helicopter parents,
Oh, God.
they're hovering over everybody.
Yeah, I
you
know.
Like,
yeah,
you
it's
can't
terrible. Terrible.
Go be a kid. I don't
I
know
know.
if there's any solution to it.
Not much. Because now, the iPhones, the kids carrying around an iPhone, and your parents can track them everywhere, every single place they're at.
Can track them and do track them.
Yeah, for sure.
How about the times that I would go down to the creek down there, Dad?
I never knew how you guys got through from here to 7-Eleven, and you knew there was a path through the jungle between here and 7-Eleven.
Quite a jungle. It was
I
wood- it
didn't
was-
even know there was a jungle.
It wasn't. It was jungle. It was woods of undeveloped neighborhoods.
Yeah, like a jungle.
Not quite. there was no lions or tigers in there. It was
No,
okay.
right,
but
right.
yeah, no. But in the 7-Eleven's probably about a mile away. I want to say
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, about that, yeah.
we would ride our bicycles 2 or 3 miles up to Tyson's Corner, Alan Abbasi and I, to go play video games at the sub shop because that was the closest place they had an arcade style game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys would play over there at past where they used to ride motorcycles and motorbikes on
Sure.
the tombs and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, this is when I say the mean streets of McLean, I joke because obviously there's nothing mean about this neighborhood. It's a beautiful suburban neighborhood and,
Right.
inside, just outside the Beltway in D.C. But,
It was built pretty new.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
and underdeveloped so far at that point.
well, yeah, but the bottom line is
Process anyway.
my generation, growing up in the 70s, you were outside, you did shit. And you had to organize too, Johnny. You had to organize with friends. You had to call Mike Planica and Greg, what's his name, Giannopoulos or whatever, and get a pickup football game in the park.
Right.
Pick up tackle football game where who knows, you get your head cracked open,
Oh.
separate a shoulder, break a leg, but whatever, it was tackle.
Yeah, I know. I thank heavens that you guys stayed whole through this all. Unbelievable, It's like
But what were you going to do? Say no? You couldn't.
that's the thing.
That's
you
the
know?
thing.
I mean, I think you guys had enough common sense that you didn't overexpose yourself to, ridiculous
We
risks.
didn't have. Well, I guess there was always that certain thing inside going, I don't think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, right.
But
Right.
not totally common sense. So, Johnny, what are you going to do for a plane? You going to keep
well,
flying gliders?
oh,
Are we
yeah,
going to go
yeah.
to something experimental?
No.
What about powered hang gliders?
No.
Powered parachutes?
No.
What do you mean no?
They're all suicidal, if you ask me. I'm happy with my one little single seat glider that you pull up with a rope and you get on the ground when you run out of hot air.
Okay.
So
What about, have you ever done paragliding?
no.
I did that in South Africa. I did it also in Wyoming.
Wow.
Yeah, where you run off the side of the mountain and
No.
Yeah, you see,
Your
you should-
brother did that in Berkeley.
Yeah, see, you should do that, Johnny.
No.
You as a man of flight would appreciate
I
it.
am a little bit older and perhaps more fragile than you. I can't
It's
do that.
it doesn't hurt. You land gentle as a butterfly. What are you talking about?
You do it
You've
right.
crashed your
Tell you-
glider 3 times. You're worried about doing what I did with no problem.
I am not jumping off a cliff, no matter what's hanging above me.
You don't jump off it. You run off it, technically.
Well,
you
that's
run off it
about
into
the-
a headwind is what
Yeah,
you do.
well, That's
All right. Johnny, it was great to see you. Thanks for coming on through. So you're leaving tomorrow?
We're heading south. We're going to go to Raleigh for an overnight, and then 2 nights in Savannah, and then visit my son in Winter Park, Florida, and then on the way to Bonita Springs, where we live.
There you go. Spend the winter in Florida, get that plane fixed up. I should come out to New Mexico this winter, go on a
Yes.
flight. Now, you're a single-seater, right?
Yes, but there
Can
are
we
plenty.
can we rent a two-seater?
Yes, there are people who will take you out. I could take you out.
If we rent a two-seater, would you fly me in the back?
I probably wouldn't, in the sense that I would want to be sure I had more experience
With the
in,
plane.
in that particular airplane. But there are plenty of instructors and trainers who will take you out for a joyride, an hour or two, and you'd
right,
love
cool.
it. And what's nice about New Mexico is it's not terribly uncommon for me to be at the FAA limit of 18,000 feet.
Oh, really?
Which is
that high?
that's the maximum you can do without special clearance.
How long can you stay up when they let you go at 18,000 feet?
Oh, well, you're going down at 1 foot for every 40 feet forward, so a 40-foot glide ratio. You can stay. I have been up for close to 5 hours. 5 hours. On one toe. So
That's good stuff.
It's not uncommon for the real guys to do it for 7, 8 till sunset. I mean, legally, they have to be on the ground because you can't see.
Exactly. And when I'm out there, Dad, you and Mom will be in Arizona. You'll be at the Talking Stick Casino.
That is true.
Killing them at the tables.
That is true.
Crushing them with their
Or else I'll be at
no
the
surrender,
or else,
soft 17 bullshit
no,
tables.
or else I'll be at the Desert Diamond, Glendale.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll just
Or
roll
in-
right over.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Thank
Well,
you.
this has been a
Okay.
pleasure. We love your amazing mobile office.
It's
Stryker.
terrific.
Good. Were the seats okay? These are new seats.
Beautiful.
These are
Beautiful.
upgraded seats to be
I
comfortable.
love it.
But I want
can
them
sleep.
Don't fall asleep in them.
I could sleep here right now.
No, but the next gen has to be swivel. That's all.
Oh, well.
You
Yeah.
like the swivel. Okay.
Next thing he's going to want more.